there's nothing more fun than to take somebody that really has a hunger towards doing business, and you get them to start personal develop, you get them to start making some income, you get them to go out and change other people's lives. That's where I find fulfillment.
We are in the house with power player Simon Lee. How are you, man?
Doing good.
Good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself before Conklin.
Well, all I can remember before Conklin, dude, that was a lot of running. That was a lot of stress. I was a general contractor. I did anything and everything I could, from changing old foundations to building brand new houses from start to finish. And so I found myself real busy through in the evening. You know, I had to go bid jobs in the evening and work through the day, and I tell you what, it was a very busy time. It was fun, had a good time. I didn't know any better. I mean, it's one of them things that you got to do to pay the bills, you know, make a living. And I had a good time doing it, but I just found myself in a rat race, running. Paid the bills, but that's about it.
Right on. So share with the people watching just some more history about you and your life that might even involve Conklin. Just, you know, growing up, your childhood.
You know, here's a crazy thing. My dad, back, I'm going to say I was probably only 10 years old. Some guy drives in our driveway and sold my dad some Wex from Conklin, you know, and had my dad got division back in that time, I have no idea where this could have been, you know. So that's probably the first time we've been exposed to Conklin. Didn't really realize, just another salesman, right? Just another guy that showed up, and he showed some big potatoes on a checkerboard table, and he showed some small potatoes on a checkerboard table, you know. So he said this had Wex and this didn't have Wex, you know. So just some real easy, simple things that he showed there, and grew up on a dairy farm, you know. I grew up on a dairy farm. My dad had, I think it was like 130 acres or something. We did it, you know, in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. So I only had an 8th grade education, went to school for 8 grades, and I had planned on being a farmer, and, well, you know, went from being a farmer to a contractor and had my own business going. I guess I could never just be satisfied working for somebody else. I always knew that if you work for somebody else, you're making somebody else's dream, you know. So started on my own when I was 19. I had my own construction crew going. He said, you need to take a look at it. You need to check this out. I think it might be something you could add to your business. And, well, you know, I was just like everybody else. You know, I'm making a living, and I'm doing good, and I didn't really know how important it was. But one day I thought, you know, I do everything else. I might as well be able to do a flat roof if it comes my way.
Right.
And so I called him up and said, what do I got to do this? You know, if I get a flat roof coming my way, instead of giving it to somebody else, I might as well put the money in my own pocket.
Right.
And so I go out and took the training. That was all the way out in Minnesota when I first did it.
Really?
Went to training in Minnesota. It's going 13 years ago, you know. So it changed my life completely. Changed my life. Probably, well, see, the first couple years I didn't realize what I had, so I didn't really push it, because in my general construction, I never advertised. It was all word of mouth, and I was busy all year long, through the whole year. Summer and winter. Well, when Andrew, my upline, when he told me that I need to be sending out flyers and spending money, I was like, dude, why do I need to spend money if I never spent money before? You know, I mean, why do I? But see, I didn't realize the commercial industry is a complete different ball game than the residential. I mean, you can be, to think back now, that I did send out a little bit of, I think, $2,500 worth of flyers, and bid about a half a dozen jobs, and I got one little job that paid for my flyers and paid for everything, but I didn't have any money left over. And so guess what happened? I got back in the rut of doing what I always did, you know. Went right back in doing construction, saying I ain't spending more money unless this makes money, right? Well, it was about 2 years later, this guy calls me and he says, hey, I got a roof that I need you to come look at. And I was like, he said, I got your flyer here a while back. And I was like, wow, that was 2 years ago that he got my flyer. And he kept it. And he called me, you know, and I go out and looked at his roof, and I not only got the one roof that he got, he said, when he saw the first price from the one building that he wanted done, I gave him the price. He said, well, that's not too bad. And so he wanted his whole plant done. So in the fall of 2007, I made more money in the fall than I did all year work. I reinvested that money that I made. I reinvested it back into flyers, and so I made master contractor from 2008 on, you know, and if you reinvest the money you make from this business, there's nothing else that I know of that can make you the kind of income that this will, if you reinvest. See, if you go make the money and you don't reinvest the money, you come to a dead end. I think it's really important to reinvest, and that's what I learned back in 2008, and it changed my life.
Yeah, right on. So I had a couple other questions, but you pretty much went over a lot of those. But tell me a little bit about where your Conklin business is today, where you've taken it. You know, obviously back then it was roofing every day, selling roofs and all those kind of things. And I think Andrew kind of gave you a vision that is even going greater than that. So tell us a little bit about where you're at today.
Well, when I first started, I didn't realize the importance of the second part of the business. You don't have to do it. And so, like I said, I was a general contractor, and that's all I was interested in. In fact, I told my wife I'll never do the other part. All I want to do is roofing. I'm going to go and slap coatings on the roof. I'm going to put down systems, right? And I'm going to spend money, and then I'm going to do a roof and get it all back and then some. And that's what I thought was success. So in 2008 was my first year of making preferred contractor. Back then it was master contractor. And I did that until 2012. And in the meantime, you know, the first year, of course, if you sponsor 2 people, you get 5% back. Well, you think about 150,000, 5%, that's a lot of money just laying on the table. So I wanted 5% back, and I wanted to go hang out on vacations with my friends, right? Because to me, hanging out with friends on a vacation somewhere where it's warm, when it's cold here, to me that's a blast. To me that's fun. To me that's the name of the game. That's why I did it. And so I sponsored a couple good friends of mine, and before I knew it, I was like, man, the commission started rolling in, right? And as I saw what was happening, I thought, man, if I could just do this same thing, maybe 4 or 5 times over and over, where would I be? So by 2012, I couldn't afford roofing anymore. I had to help people, because here's the deal. When the sun shines, what do I need to do if I got my own roofing business?
Yeah,
I gotta be on my own roof, right? So, and that's exactly when my people that are out there need to be on their roof. So when I'm on my roof and the phone keeps ringing, I can't get nothing done, and I gotta be with my guys. So I changed from being a roofer to a consultant, maybe you could say, or I just help people get started. I just tell people about what I did and what a lot of my friends are doing, and they say, well, what do I got to do to get, you know, to help do this? And I just walk them through it. And we're there with them, you know, every step of the way. And after the first couple of roofs, they don't need me no more, and I find myself jobless again. But dude, the commission's awesome.
Because the commission keeps rolling in.
Yeah.
Even when you're not there.
Here's the deal. You make a percent from everybody you tell about this business. You get a percentage back for the rest of your life. You work once and get paid forever, over and over, for the job you're doing. And
you're their support. You're their support. You know,
Right.
these guys that might, I have guys the same way. They might be up and running and they really don't need you, but they call you once a week or once a month with some questions and stuff. You're still there for them, but you're not with them every day.
Well, every roof out there is different, you know. I mean, but we are with our cell phone. They shoot a picture, say, what would you do here? Would you foam it? Or would you fabric it? Or would you? What would your recommendation be? So that's what I do. I mean, it's not like we ain't not got nothing to do, but at least I can get paid when I'm fishing now.
Well, that's good. I assume all our viewers would probably rather be in that position than, you know, 98% of the country, you know, never figures out how to actually make an income unless they're actually putting their time into it. And the only way they make more money is by putting more time into it. So they trade their time for money. I've come to believe, since I've been involved with Conklin myself, and I'm sure you probably find this yourself, I've come to believe that time is more valuable than money, because you can always get more money, but you can never get more time. The time we just spent right here, you'll never get that back. And so people are actually taking the most valuable thing they have, which is time, and they're trading it for money, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And successful people, I believe, when they really get a handle on it, realize that their time is worth more than money. And I think something that most, you know, highly successful people have in common is the fact that they figured out how to make money whether they work or not, or whether they're working or not. You know, there's things you have to do to keep things going. You know, sure, you could take the year off.
Here's a funny story. I'm going to tell you a story, and we're going to have to go back a little bit BC, before Conklin, right? I recognized that one day, that, dude, money without time is just as bad as time without money. Well, maybe not just as bad. But there's people out here that are real busy, And they make lots of money, right? But they got no time for their family. They got no time for anything. Then you got the other side of the ditch where people have all the time in the world, but they're broken or joke. They don't. They have nothing, can't do nothing, and they spend everything they make on, they have no money, no time. So time and money is success. And I realized that. And one time I told my wife, I said, if we had a lot of money and then we didn't worry about money, what would I do? Well, we thought, well, of course I'd stay home with the kids when they're little, right? I'd help raise the kids. I'd be home with them. And so I got this wise idea. What could I do to make money that can afford me to stay home? And I decided I'm going to build me a veal barn. So I put up a big veal barn, right? And I made it nice. And I thought, this is going to be enough money for me to make the payments and buy the groceries. Well, I was a contractor. You have to remember, I was a contractor, but I thought I could maybe do something that I could stay home. Guess what happened? Cost me an hour and a half in the morning, an hour and a half in the evening of sleep. I kept right on working just like I always did. So it made me a little busier.
Yeah, and you were still, it just made you busier because you were still spending the same amount of hours in your contracting business, but you were getting up at 4 o'clock to feed the cows, and you were coming home from work at 5 o'clock to go feed the cows again right after dinner at 6 o'clock. And so now you just gave up a lot more time.
Right now, instead of going to bed in the job at 5:30, when I usually would, if I come home, they'd go to a bit of job at 5:30. I went and fed the calves till 7, and then I looked at a job yet. So I just made myself busier. And, well, it was good. I mean, I'm not sorry that I did it, but it was a learning curve for me. With the Conklin business, after I realized what Conklin really was, that's where I realized that, dude, you can make money, you can help people and change their lives and get them out of the rat race that I'm in and was in. Okay? If I could change 5 people's lives to something to get what I have right now, those 5 people ain't going to be able to be quiet. They're going to tell at least 5 or 10 or 15, 20. I mean, you don't want to stop with 5, but I'm saying, wouldn't it be worth it to change 5 people's lives to the point where they can change other 5 people, and eventually you've changed the world, one person at a time.
Yeah.
We got to get people out of debt in the society we're in. Most divorces are because of finances. Most of them, a lot of them are. Yeah. And not only that, money has caused a lot of problems already. The lack of money, basically.
Yep. Well, I like to say, just to kind of recap on something you were talking about, I like to say that there's like 3 different types of people in this country, and there's those who have money and don't have time, and a lot of times these are big corporations who run conventional businesses who have, lots of employees, and, they're just really, really busy. So they have money, but they also don't have any time because their business controls them. Then there's the people who are, unemployed maybe. So they have a lot of time, but they don't have any money. Okay? Now, to me, true success is having both of those. Is having time and money.
True, yeah.
And I don't know any business that you can do that easier with than Conklin, and the longer I'm in Conklin, the more I realize this. My brother and I were, when you have some money, it's good to, plant money as a seed, plant it and watch it grow in your Conklin business. You invest back into marketing, whatever. Those it's seeds. You have to take some of your crops. If you plant corn and you eat all your corn and you don't replant some of that, that's the end of it.
That's it.
So you have to keep planting some of those seeds back so that they continue to give you a harvest, right? And my brother and I have been talking about just taking some of our money and investing some of our money in something that continues to grow some more money. And we realized that in order to grow an income to where Conklin has provided us right now, to have enough money invested to have that kind of a flow of income off of that money, it's a huge sum of money. And I'm going to be honest, if it wasn't for Conklin, I wouldn't have learned what it takes to do this. I would. It's a complete different mindset. But I'm just saying, I don't remember the exact number we had come up with, but it was probably, I forget, $5-10 million worth of money that you have to have invested.
Well,
I'd say that's being conservative.
Not only that, you go and invest $5 million in something. You know what you created yourself? Liability.
Right.
You created yourself a lot of liability, which is great. I'm not saying don't go and invest in something and don't be afraid of liability. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying with the $5 million comes liability that you got to have insurance for. You got to pay for insurance, and so you created a big wheel of expenses again in order to make this happen. Well, if you need more money with Conklin, just go get a couple
Yeah.
more guys started.
Yeah, and that's
Help
exactly
them.
what I was gonna
And
say.
Now it's not only helping you, but it's
Yeah.
helping them. And you don't need insurance for that because you don't have liability. You're not the guy tearing off the roof.
Yeah.
You're just showing him how to tear off the roof. He got to have the
Yeah.
liability. So the bigger you grow your Conklin business, the less comes your liability.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. With along with that is, you know, there's different ways you can make residual money. One way is by investing money. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But just being real honest, most people never make enough money or figure out how to make enough money that they can really substantially grow something pretty quick. Now, there's things like IRAs and stuff like that that will make you some money back, but it has nothing to do with today, because if you're going to make some of those investments work, which I'm not here promoting that, but I'm just saying if you're going to make it work, you have to leave your money in there for 30, 40 years. Okay, it's a long-term plan that might be there for you in retirement, but it does nothing for you today. It actually takes money from you today, okay, and it doesn't feed you, doesn't do nothing. It's just another thing over there. So with Conklin, instead of investing, you know, sure, it might take a little bit of money to
Takes
find some
time.
contractors,
Definitely
but mostly
takes
going to take time on your part and investing in people.
Right.
That's really what our business comes down to. We've invested in people, and because of investing in people, we've just basically put together a team, harness the power of a team,
Yep.
and everybody can do the same thing.
Well, I find in myself that I'm happier when I help other people
Yep.
find success. There's nothing more fun than to take somebody that really has a hunger towards doing business, and you get them to start personal develop, you get them to start making some income, you get them to go out and change other people's lives. That's where I find fulfillment. I think all people are created to help others, you know, and that's why it's such a fulfillment in helping people.
Well, I think something that everybody has in common is the fact that they want to know that they made a difference.
Yep.
Okay, and when you help somebody else be successful, when you help somebody else get there, you know you've made a difference. And I heard Andrew say this years ago. I heard him say, "Yeah, the money's great, but the fact that we know that I know that I helped and made a difference in somebody else's life, you know, gives me goosebumps."
Yeah.
Okay, he said that, you know, and I've said this since. You know, there's very seldom that you get paid money and you look at the check and you get goosebumps out of that. But when you hear somebody come to you and say, "Dude, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there for me and for joining up and helping me get involved." And I've had that happen numerous times in the last year. And that, to me, sure, that it's not money in the bank. But there's something you get out of that money in the bank doesn't give you.
Yeah, I've had experience of, and I'm sure you did too, of giving people money. That's one thing. That's good. That might be good. You know, if somebody has a need, we should help them out. But boy, I tell you what, when you can, I mean, it's nothing wrong with giving somebody a fish because they're hungry. But if you can take that person, if they're hungry enough, you know, I'm talking a desire is there to learn,
Yep.
and you teach them how to fish, and you stand back and you watch them catching fish one after the other because you taught them how. And you know that family will never be hungry again because that man knows how to fish. That's fulfillment. Giving money is there's a little value there, there's a little bit of fulfillment there, but it's nothing like teaching people how to fish and feed their family, knowing that they can forever from here on out fish.
Yep.
So
Yep.
when you're not around, they're still going to be taken care of.
Yep. And just
That's mission accomplished.
Yeah, and just to recap on some of what we talked, and I got a couple of the questions is, so basically, 98% of the population is broke or dead at the age of 65. 98%. That's an astounding number, okay? So that means you're in the 2%. Okay? Because you've got something, you've taken the Conklin opportunity, and you've harnessed it to the fullest. You know? I believe whether you're just roofing, or whether you're roofing and training some guys, or whether you're just training some guys, which is where you're at today, you kind of, you know, to start with, you did just roofing, then you did roofing and trained some guys, then eventually you just went into training some guys. I believe all phases of that can be in the 2% because, you know, our roofing does allow us to make a lot more income in a lot less time, which allows you to put back in and continually grow, you know, your business. But only 2% of people at the age of 65 are financially independent on their own and are basically good to go. And my encouragement to all our viewers is, you know, harness the Conklin opportunity to the fullest.
Amen.
You know, seize the whole opportunity. You know, sure, you can just do one thing over here, but my suggestion is when you do arrive, when you do figure out how to actually bank the kind of money you want to, hey, I feel like it's your duty to reach back and grab somebody else's hand and help somebody else do the same thing.
Well, there is only 24 hours a day, and you're only one human being. You're only one person. You can only do so much. And yeah, you can go out there and you can build a big Conklin roofing business or commercial roofing or in any business you want to do. But together, if you get more, if you delegate and you get somebody else to do it, I found that there's a whole lot more money. If you need money, if money is what you want, there's a whole lot more money in building the Conklin business, the business side of it, than the commercial roofing. Now, roofing is great. Roofing is instant gratification. It's instant money. Building the business, you got to have like a 3 to 5 year plan, and that's how I found it.
All right, so that gets me into a good question. What is your 5-year plan? What are you excited about in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself going?
Probably one of the most exciting things that I can think about is some of my real good friends. I just got away from a picnic with one of my downline, and he wanted me to speak a little bit there, and I looked around there, and I'm going to tell you something. Only the person that I got started was the only person that I knew a year ago, and there was probably 50, 60 people there. All of them are close friends now. I'm talking friends that I have now already traveled with them down, we shared the same hotel room because we got one hotel room with, 2 beds in it. I'm talking friends that I would bring to my family. I wouldn't be afraid to have my kids at their house. This is something that you will not usually have happening to you in just any business. But people that I don't know, I'm excited about the people that I have no clue that exist. That'll be some of my closest friends through this business. And that's just one of them. But there's lots of them, and I'll tell you. And the reason there was nobody else there is in that picnic I talked about is because one of my district managers decided to put on a picnic for his leg, and he invited me there too. So that's why everybody that was there I didn't know.
Wow, and isn't that cool though? I mean, it's just so cool to have the power of a team, the way we work, and everything, that we can be making a difference on people that we've never met. We can be, because you introduced whatever his name is to the business, then he went and got some other guys involved, and because of that, you touched everybody.
Oh yeah,
you might not know who they are, but let me tell you something. They know who you are.
They know who I am. This guy that I got started found a guy. He found a guy that found a guy that found a guy. That's who I went and we found and opened an account for him. That's 5 people away from my friend that is now one of my close friends. I think it's amazing. I think one of the greatest things is that strangers become family.
So just in one sentence, what's some advice that you would give to some brand new people who are watching this?
Well, the best advice I can give you is, in order for you to make a professional decision whether this is for you, you don't want to take somebody else's word for it, or even maybe the person that got you involved in this, or got you to take a look at it. You don't even want to take his word. My best advice is go out to Kansas City, go to the professional training where they professionally train you and tell you exactly what the whole thing is. And when you're there, you can make that professional decision whether this is for you or not. And if it's not for you, I'll be honest, the Conklin roofing business or even the Conklin business is not for everybody. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody wants to do it. And you know what? That's fine with me. We're not looking for the people that we think should do it. We're looking for the people that want to do it. A lot of people need it. I look around sometimes and I see people that, dude, he needs this because that guy is always on the edge of being bankrupt. If he would do this, he could change his life. I can find people all over that need this. Those are not the people we're looking for. We're looking for the people that want this. This opportunity has changed my life, has changed your life, has changed many of my friends' life. Maybe this is for you, maybe it isn't. But you need to make a professional decision based on your information at the Conklin Business Seminar and the Roof Systems Training. That's where you make that decision, not based on the person in front of you.
Yep, right on. Well, hey, I want to personally thank you for taking the time out of your busy day and busy schedule to give us a little bit of your knowledge. So just a few words I would encourage y'all. Don't just aspire to make a living, but aspire to make a difference, because when you make a difference, you make a living.
Amen. That's right.